We are fighting for power in that country. We have a just cause on our side. It is our country.
The African National Congress, also known as the ANC, is a national liberation movement. It was formed in 1912 to unite the African people and spearhead the struggle for political, social, and economic change. For 10 decades, the ANC has led the struggle against racism and oppression, organizing resistance, mobilizing the international community, and taking up the armed struggle against apartheid, with the aim to create a united, non-racial, non-sexist democratic society and uplifting the quality of life of all South Africans and especially the poor. One thing that we should never forget is that the ANC played a role in the struggle against apartheid, the system of racial segregation and discrimination in South Africa. Through various forms of resistance, including protests, strikes, and international advocacy, the ANC contributed to the dismantling of the apartheid. Overall, the ANC has played a crucial role in shaping the course of the South African history and working towards a more inclusive and equitable society. Although this is not the ANC that we are familiar with today, for the past 2 decades, ANC was able to tarnish their beacon of hope reputation by involving themselves in numerous corruption scandals, economic mismanagement, bureaucracy, being incompetent, and so much more. Today, we also learn that the people's support for the ANC is plunging drastically and has dropped to 37% 6 weeks before the crucial elections on the 29th of May 2024, which is the lowest votes ANC has ever received during an election since 1994.
Which has been in power since the end of apartheid, has plunged to as little as 37%. And disgraced former President Jacob Zuma's new party, Umkhonto we Sizwe, could become the country's third biggest. It was officially registered in September last year, and the poll, conducted by the Social Research Foundation, suggests it may get as much as 13% of the vote in the country's elections on the 29th of May. Zuma ruled the country from 2009 to 2018, when the ANC forced him from office after a series of corruption scandals. On Tuesday, the Electoral Court ruled he could contest the polls, despite a provision in the Constitution that bars candidates who've received a 12-month or more prison sentence. In the 2019 election, the ANC won 57.5% of the vote, its lowest since taking power in 1994. A result below 50% would mean it would be forced to enter into a coalition with smaller parties to govern the country.
But things like this make me question, how did it all go wrong for the ANC? Well, I hate to break it to you, but it all dates back to 2009, when former President Jacob Zuma came into power. The ANC completely forgot about their aims and objectives and were no longer known for creating a united, non-racial, non-sexist democratic society, uplifting the quality of life, especially for the poor. Instead, it became the complete opposite. Since then, the per capita income has been stagnant. Economic growth is only at 0.6%. Inequality has gotten so much worse. And now South Africa is known as the most unequal country in the world, according to World Bank data, with race playing a determining factor in a society where 10% of the population owns more than 80% of the wealth in South Africa. But the question we should all be asking ourselves is, can the ANC win again? Well, it's difficult to say. On the 17th of November 2023, political analyst at Wits University, Professor Kwandiwe Kondlo, says that some South Africans are still on the ANC side.
The ANC, weak as it is going to continue to win. It's going to continue to win because we have one, I don't want to call it a problem, but I would call it's part of South Africa's socio-political idiosyncrasies, where you find that historical identity loyalties refuse to go away.
Professor also states how the ANC's comeback in the Western Cape is not possible, and how the party lost power in 2009.
I don't see the ANC making a comeback in the Western Cape, not because of the entrenched DA, but it's also because of some scandalous shortcomings that people in South Africa know about. But in the Western Cape, I think these scandals and mishaps have been underlined.
Another political analyst states that a coalition government with or without the ANC is a possible scenario after the 2024 elections.
The ANC will decline next year below the 57% it got in 2019, and will probably be replaced by a coalition arrangement or another party. But the scenario in which the ANC is replaced by a single party as a new ruling party is a scenario that is unlikely. The ANC must be honest about the different dimensions of its decline, or the different dimensions that constitute its decline. It must be honest that what has undermined it the most is a decline at a moral level, the erosion of its moral content, and a lack of revolutionary morality on the part of the ANC for too long.
So, according to several political analysts, they still predict that the ANC could win the upcoming elections on the 29th of May 2024, and that Cyril Ramaphosa could be given a second chance. Hopefully, he'll be able to rekindle his mistakes and actually make change in his second term. Because during his presidency from 2018 to currently, it wasn't all bread and butter either.